Basketball in the state of Illinois has dreamed about this stage. Well, dream realized for the young men from North Lawndale and Maroa-Forsyth. This is the last Class A state championship game as we know it before 4 classes come into effect next year. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jim Albrecht along with Roger Lowe, and we've got a couple of talented teams tonight. We'll start with North Lawndale and their road to Peoria. It's been pretty easy because they're pretty good. They won by an average of 30 points their first 4 games in the second season. Then, of course, St. Anne gave them a game in the Super Sectional, a game of 2 speedy teams, and the quarterfinals in the Farmington Farmers could not stop North Lawndale. As far as Maroa-Forsyth is concerned, without Robert Krebs in the Super Sectional, we'll be talking about that. They held off St. Joe Ogden 48-43, and there you see the results down here at Peoria. Now, let's talk about talent. We'll start with the Phoenix. Cordero Smith, he can fly and get to the rim.
Second team All-Stater, averaging 17 points a game. A much improved offensive player this year.
On the other side, we talk about Robo, not Robo-Cop, but Robo All-Stater.
Well, first team All-State, averaging over 23 points a game. Also leads the team in assists.
Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your Chevy dealers. How do you see it?
Well, first of all, Lawndale's got to get some second shots on the offensive goal. Controlled chaos. It looks like they play 9 guys on the press. A very controlled defense, and all for one. A lot of guys are going to play today.
Your Chevy dealers are proud to support high school athletes and their families. Best of luck in the tournament from your winning Chevy team. Let's take a look at Maroa-Forsyth.
I think they have to get the attaboys, the balls that hit the floor. That's one thing Maroa's got to do. Another thing, the lean on me. Krebs and Cochran have got to be there. And if they get 50 shots, I think Maroa-Forsyth can win the game.
Should be a dandy. Let's meet the players. Paul Herzog is standing by with tonight's starting lineups.
Good evening, basketball fans. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association of the City of Peoria, welcome to the 100th year of state tournament basketball in the state of Illinois. It's the home of America's original March Madness, and this championship game for 2007 features the Chicago North Lawndale Phoenix 26-9 and the Maroa-Forsyth Trojans 22-1. Before we meet the starting lineups, please stand and observe a moment of silence to reflect on our freedom, to remember the men and women away from their families around the world in the armed forces, serving us and protecting our way of life. Thank you, as we thank them. And now please remove your caps and address the flag with your hand over your heart as our guest soloist, Ryan Ferguson, a senior from Sycamore High School, sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now let's meet the starting lineups for this championship game. For North Lawndale, at a guard, a 5'8" sophomore, 15, Glenn Wallace. For Forsyth, the 6-foot senior guard, 3, Robert Krebs. The other guard for the Phoenix is 6'1" senior, 23, Cordero Smith. Another guard for the Trojans, a 5'10 junior. 4, Matt Guyman. At a forward for North Lawndale, a 6'5 senior. 24, Isaiah Evans. The third guard from Maroa-Forsyth, the 5'9 senior. 10, Ben Cochran. Another forward for the Phoenix, a 6'1 senior. 32, Rashad Wilson. And a forward for the Trojans, a 6'3 senior, C.J. McClellan. At a forward for North Lawndale, a 6'6 senior, 35, Brad Birton. And a forward from Maroa-Forsyth, a 6'5 senior, 50, Dustin Moore. In his 9th year of coaching, 7 years at North Lawndale, a record of 165 and 51, Lewis Thorpe. In his 8th year at Forsyth, a record of 154 and 77, Chad Kluver. No other state in America can claim the rich history and tradition been generated by March Madness in Illinois. It's America's original March Madness. Please direct your attention to the arena floor and meet the officials for this game. The referee, Trent Eshelman from Loda. From Danville, Paul Dalby. And from Bourbonnais, Joe Ewers. Presenting the game ball for this game will be Neil Johnson, Director of Community Relations for Ammer and Silco, one of the sponsors of the March Madness experience and also one of the title sponsors for the tournament. We appreciate their support to one of the greatest single high school events in the land.
Somebody's about to make March Madness history on the 100th year. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. For North Lawndale, you have the fine sophomore guard Glenn Wallace, Cordero Smith. We've already talked about him. The man inside, Isaiah Evans, Rashad Wilson, and Brad Birton round out the 5. And, of course, the All-Stater Krebs kicks things in for Maroa-Forsyth. Ben Cochran, he is a slasher. Matt Guyman, Dustin Moore, and C.J. McClellan. Those are the starting 5s for the head coaches. Lewis Thorpe, of course, for the Phoenix, and Chad Kluver for the Trojans.
All afternoon long, people have been coming up to me, Jim, and asking who you think is going to win. My answer to everybody is it's going to take a good team to beat either one of them. This is going to be an excellent championship game.
If you're going to beat the Phoenix, you have to have good guard play. We've seen that in this tournament because the Phoenix defensively, that's how they kick everything in. They've created 51 turnovers in the first 2 games down here in Peoria, which is phenomenal. Burton will jump it up, and it's controlled by the Phoenix. Quickly the other way. Glenn Wallace is the point guard, and they'll go down to that man, Isaiah Evans, because he spins and gets glass, but he comes up short. Rebound on the other side. That's not there. Coming out of there with it are the Trojans. Guyman's a guy, even though he doesn't look like a big-time rebounder, he averages over 7 a game, so he gets in the middle of things. Cochran with a nice pass over to Moore. Too much iron on that one. Too much muscle, I should say, and here come the Phoenix. North Lawndale, 25-9. Off the glass, not there, as Glenn Wallace decided to take it himself. He doesn't do that a lot. He likes to distribute and set tempo. The story on Robert Krebs with the basketball is beyond believable. An emergency appendectomy last Sunday. Missed the super sectional, but he's out here now. Playing his 3rd game in 2 days. The turnover almost. Krebs gets it back, puts it up, fires the first shot of the championship game home.
There's your All-Stater from that's going to UIC next year. A nice play by Maroa-Forsyth. And Krebs did play 40 minutes in this afternoon's game.
Krebs averaging 24.5. Evans can shoot out there. Decides not to as the ball is up and off the mark on the other side. Cordero Smith, he's not known for his jump shot as much as he is slashing, stealing, and scoring.
North Lawndale in a 1-3-1 trap right now against the Maroa-Forsyth Trojans.
You've got to really handle the ball well against these guys and try to avoid double teams. Here's the long jumper, and it's home by Ben Cochran, and so Maroa-Forsyth coming out of the gate in good shape.
Outstanding guard play, like you said, Jim, can help negate a good press. So it's going to see which strength pays off, whether it be North Lawndale's pressure or Maroa-Forsyth's guards.
Here's Evans. Slipped. And again, we've seen this time and time again these past 2 days. A lot of people slipping in the lane, a lot of condensation. There is ice under this floor. There is a minor league hockey team that plays here at the Carver Arena. You got to wait for the right moment. And that's not the right moment because the Phoenix are stealing and driving, and that is Smith. And that is what he does so well. Cordero Smith, who had 17 in the Super, 9 in the quarterfinal, and 15 this afternoon, gets the first points on the board for his team, and that's almost an unforced error, but Krebs ever alert. Guyman finds a man open, and that man is Dustin Moore. Moore only scores 3 a game, so anything you get from him, he's in there for defense. He's better known as a football player.
These guards see the floor so well, Jim. They pass well, they handle the ball well. Nice play to get to Moore.
Evans can't find it. Evans gets it back again. Off the mark.
We think that North Lawndale can get second shots. That's going to be a key, I think, to them winning the game.
Krebs all the way, draws some contact. That won't count, but that gives you some kind of indication of just what kind of body control he has. He is pretty much efficient in every category, whether it's defense, offense, distributing. We've got a 7-2 early lead for the Trojans of Maroa-Forsyth, and we're back after these network messages. Of course, Roger Lowe is a former assistant coach for the Fighting Illini. If you could just recruit out of Chicago, you're going to be pretty good.
It's a hotbed, and this is obviously the most outstanding team in Class A coming out of Chicago. Maroa-Forsyth, the pride of Macon County in Central Illinois.
And of course, North Lawndale and Maroa-Forsyth pretty even as far as enrollment, except for one difference. For North Lawndale, it's all boys, all young men. Ben Cochran will do that, but that one is rejected, but Moore got it back. The Phoenix, though, clearing out there on the boards. In a hurry the other way. It's Cordero Smith, won't get the roll. The tip is up and just missed. And the Phoenix come away empty. Cordero Smith very active. The other way again, the quick hands of the Phoenix.
North Lawndale's done a nice job on the offensive board so far, Jim. They've had 2 or 3 putbacks that just haven't fallen.
Wallace, he is looking for Wilson. Wilson will have to pull it back out. All seniors out there for Coach Lewis Thorpe, except for the point guard, number 15, Glenn Wallace. There's a bad toss inside, and they've got numbers. In a hurry, posting up is Cochran. No. But Krebs is there. That's short. And it's surprising when the Phoenix don't run. I mean, they're so capable, so quick. Wallace will pull up and hit it.
You know, in the fast break, though, Jim, they all get to their alleys, they get to their lanes. It's a really controlled fast break, even though it looks like it's a blur down the court. Everyone knows where they're supposed to be. Very well coached by Coach Thorpe.
And there's a bad pass on the other end as C.J. McClellan came up a little too high for his running mate Krebs.
That ball was tipped by North Lawndale, so Maroa will keep it. We want to get the ball in the hands of Robert Krebs and let good things happen.
Again, the Phoenix showing evidence of those wingspan defenders. Long jumper by Krebs. That's 3 for Robo, and it's 10-4 Maroa-Forsyth.
He's got his legs underneath him. He didn't have his legs underneath him in yesterday's game, Jim, but both games today, I think he's playing pretty close to 100%.
The only team to beat Maroa-Forsyth was Monticello. They made it to the Sweet 16. From the corner, not there this time, as Wilson comes up short, but the offensive rebound finds Isaiah Evans nailing it.
I want to repeat again, North Lawndale's doing a great job on their offensive glass. It's keeping them in the ball game right now.
Does he have a soft touch or not? I mean, for a big man, he just kind of breathes it in. Good defense that time by Birton. Stop the shot attempt. Cochran gets inside. He uses that left hand a lot.
He's good. He's the one who got 26 points for him in the sectional final and the super sectional when Krebs was being either double teamed or out with his appendectomy.
Cochran had 21 in the quarterfinal, and here's a steal. Numbers or not? Wilson says no, but Wilson is going to be called for the foul. Wilson got ahead of the pack. It was 2-on-1 for the Trojans, and Wilson picked up the personal.
We talked about at the onset that if Maroa got 50 shots, that I think they'd have a shot to win, and right now they're on pace for that. Only 1 turnover, 12 possessions, 11 shots.
Patrick Woolfolk check it in for North Lawndale. And of course, the new body for Maroa-Forsyth is Andrew Mills. Again, in and out. Not this time for Krebs. Got a good look. Trailing by 6. The Phoenix on the move. Slashing is Cordero, but not there. And let's see what the whistle's all about. We're going the other way. That's the new man in, Andrew Mills, put on 20 pounds. He's a big lad, a football player, 6'3", 270.
Only 1 turnover so far from Maroa-Forsyth against North Lawndale's pressure, too.
And that's good considering what we've seen down here. Nice interior passing. This is Guyman, in and out. Rebound by 2 of the Phoenix, but Evans says, I'll take it. Isaiah Evans is 6'5", 225, the senior, averaging 14 points a game. Patrick Atkins is in the ball game, and here's their 3-point specialist, Jackson, but it's too hard off the iron. Smith off the glass, no. Rebound comes down to the Trojans. They're having trouble controlling it, knocked out of bounds, and last touch by number 5, C.J. McClellan.
Once again, the defense has created a headache now for Maroa-Forsyth. Only their 2nd turnover yet. Gives the Phoenix a chance now to get back in the ball game.
On the other side, North Lawndale has 3 turnovers, so they rarely trail in that department, but tonight off to a slow start is Woolfolk.
3 for 15 so far in the first quarter for North Lawndale as well, Jim.
Atkins, that is a tough shot. It won't go down. Kept alive as Smith is inside, and now they'll set it up again. Woolfolk, these guys love to drive. That pass is tipped away, and we've got a foul away from the action, it looked like, as the steal was underway. We've got a foul against Maroa-Forsyth.
I'm really impressed with the way Smith, Evans, and Burton are banging the offensive boards for North Lawndale. They've got 9 boards of the 12 for the Phoenix here in the first quarter.
Well, actually, they say Andrew Mills got a body on Woolfolk as he was cutting through the lane, so that is the call, and it worked out well for the Phoenix. 12-6. Kids in white with a lead. Jackson with a little runner, not there. Ball is saved by Robert Krebs after bounding around. And here comes McClellan. McClellan waits for help. Krebs, that's his shot. No. Rebound comes out high. And now it's almost thrown away, but Jackson controls. Now we've got a foul coming up court. That'll go against Ben Cochran.
Well, Robert Krebs has had some good looks, Jim.
Yes,
he's
he has.
1 for 4 from 3, but in all 4 of his shots, he's had his feet set. So these are shots that are going to typically go in for him.
And again, you just wonder physically how he's doing after an emergency appendectomy on Sunday and then given clearance to play here on Friday. Of course, couldn't make the super sectional win, but they prevailed nonetheless.
I kind of think his adrenaline right now is making him forget all of that. I'm sure that tomorrow he's going to be sore, but right now I'm going to say it's a non-factor.
And one thing that North Lawndale will do, but they're going to launch, not there for Woolfolk. High is Mills for the rebound. I thought maybe we'd see another one of those slowdowns in the final minute, Roger, but they fired away.
Now Maroa may play for the 1 shot here. Let's take a look at it.
Nope. That's why, because Ben Cochran got open for the 15-foot drainer.
That must have been the one right there. A nice shot for Cochran, his 7th.
And 8 points, Maroa-Forsyth lead. They finished 3rd at state last year. And of course, North Lawndale was down here last year, but upended in the quarterfinals by IVC Chillicothe. A steal by Krebs. He's got 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, count it. That's the end of the first quarter with this 60-footer on the way, but it's going to be off the mark, and Maroa-Forsyth has a great first quarter. North Lawndale work to do, trailing by 10. We're back after these local messages. Krebs County. Here's your first quarter statistics brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Raj?
Obviously the one that jumps out at you is the second line on the left. North Lawndale shooting 17%. And Lawndale's been getting good shots, Jim. They've been banging the boards, just haven't been able to get them to drop. One other thing I'd like to say, we said in the onset that Maroa-Forsyth would have to lean on me. And if you look at the stats there, Robert Krebs and Cochran have 14 of the 16 points for the Maroa-Forsyth Trojans.
Krebs averaging 24, Cochran 13, so they're used to that. Here he is again. That's way short. They were flying at him that time. And here's a breakaway. Wallace down and up and in.
And a great job by North Lawndale by looking deep. A great pass in there by Isaiah Evans to Glenn Wallace.
When they can get ahead of the pack, they are not about to be caught. There's a pass that's going to get away, and there's the turnover that we're used to seeing created by the Phoenix. Again, Wallace. Again, he's going for the bucket. This time it's not there, and a nice seal-out by Maroa-Forsyth collectively. Up by 8, and now up by 10. Because Robert Krebs, who's deceptively quick, he just knows the angle. You'll see it here on the replay, Roger.
Well, Robert Krebs has been in gymnasium since he's about 3 or 4 years old. He has a great basketball IQ, knows how to handle the ball, knows how to get good angles, and go in the line for the potential three-point play.
And, of course, like all great guards, they're going to get to the free throw line when they drive and then convert. He's 81% from the line on the year.
He's had quite a senior year. He has led one of the leaders of the Maroa-Forsyth football team, set state records in receiving, and first team All-State in basketball. Quite an athletic year for Robert.
Yeah, only one other school has ever won a state football championship and a state basketball championship in the same school year. That was Carlisle. Maroa-Forsyth trying to do that here tonight. They won it in football in 2A with a 14-0 record. Shot is going to go down softly by Cordero Smith. That is how he makes his impact. He's so quick inside, and then he's got the soft touch.
Cordero Smith's one of the most improved offensive players down in the tournament.
And Smith is loose again. Count them. Oh, he missed the layup. Unbelievable. You won't see that very often by Cordero. He just lost the handle. The other way, McClellan, no. Rebound belongs to North Lawndale in the form of Burton, and Burton was fouled. It looks like Krebs might have got him. Let's see.
I can't think that Lewis Thorpe can be upset about that missed shot. They got to run out. It was a good shot, and Cordero is usually going to make that shot for the Phoenix.
Yeah, it looked like Cordero just kind of lost the hand a little bit coming up. He was being pursued. It wasn't certainly a solo number. The Phoenix trailing by 9. Going to go inside Burton. Burton steps in, scores.
Well, he's a man in there. Burton can be just an outstanding force. Once he faces up, when he catches the ball, Jim, if he faces the basket, he becomes what's called a triple threat to pass, shoot, or dribble.
6-6 inside there, and Burton cuts it to 7. Maroa-Forsyth, the highest ranked team left because Nashville went down in the quarterfinals to T-Town. They were number 1. This is McClellan.
You know, the outside players from Maroa-Forsyth, Krebs, Guyman, and McClellan are all slashers. They can take the ball to the basket, and they all have pretty good quick first steps.
The key to taking it to the basket is protecting it on the way. How about that one from Burton?
Brad Birton is his 4th point of the game, and again, a great presence down low for them.
Burton with a couple of back-to-backers on the offensive end as Krebs brings it down. Oh, bad pass inside, but McClellan gets lucky, finds his mate Moore, and that's easy. Dustin Moore, who will take that big body to Truman State as a college football player. Wallace pulls up. I don't know if they wanted that shot. Moore's got the rebound. And here comes numbers. They've got 3-on-2 if they want it. They want it. Guyman all the way. Yeah! And he's going to the free throw line, and North Lawndale kind of fell asleep on that one.
Yeah, we're going to get to see this again, and you're right. I don't think that Maroa-Forsyth can beat him down on the dribble. Great job by Guyman. Guyman's a good athlete, and again, look at the angle he got. The defensive player did not have his shoulder squared to the baseline, thus the blocking foul. Now, I think probably Coach Thorpe might have called a timeout after that basket, but he's going to get it the TV timeout here, so he's a smart guy. He's a tremendous coach. He's going to save it. If Guyman makes this free throw, they're going to get one for the network break.
Glenn Wallace goes out. Coming back in is Rashad Wilson, and here comes the freshman Jermaine Winfield, but we're going to take that TV timeout right now. A dozen up is Maroa-Forsyth. Back after these local messages.
And we're back at Carver Arena. Maroa-Forsyth out to the 12-point lead. Never gotten this far before. In fact, the best finish prior to last year was the Super Sectional in 57. Dick Thomas was a team member. Tell me about that team and going to the Sweet 16 back in 57.
It was exciting. we were playing Warrensburg-Latham, and they'd already beat us twice, and we pulled it out in the super sectional.
Attaboy. All right, Butch Brown was on that team too. Tell me what kind of memories this brings back for you, Butch.
Well, we played a lot like this ball club, and we come up here with these kids to get it all, and I think we're going to do it.
All right, well, it's good that you're here supporting the Trojans.
Thank you very much.
All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot. The tradition lives on at Maroa-Forsyth, guys.
Thank you, Lee Hall. The generations are well represented here tonight in Peoria. Pass is taken away by Dustin Moore as the Phoenix tried to get it inside and unsuccessfully. Krebs now. There's that great defense. That was Atkins batting that thing away. And here comes Evans.
Great hands by North Lawndale and forcing another turnover for Maroa. That's their 5th.
And of course, if you remember last year, the man with the ball right there, Isaiah Evans, had one of those life-altering experiences. That's muscle, that's good. Isaiah Evans, and of course, last year before he came down here, Roger, somebody stuck a gun in his face and said, give me the tennis shoes, and I don't think any of us knows what that feels like. So every day a gift. Evans cuts it to 10. Cochran going around. Now they got Guyman inside. Moore controls, and he'll kick it out. This is a wide open jumper for Krebs. In and out. Evans, when he says the lane is mine, I don't think there's much argument.
His 4th rebound, and he's just a man down there on both ends. Isaiah Evans, number 24, right at the free throw line for North Lawndale.
This is Patrick Atkins. And you've heard us talk about the practices at North Lawndale. They are just brutal. Here is traveling along the baseline as Rashad Wilson got a nice pass, but just couldn't handle it and then moved his feet in the process. But we were talking about their practices. They have so many people who play that when you go on the practice court for North Lawndale, you're kind of like vying for position, so nobody takes anything for granted.
No, one of the reasons why Maroa-Forsyth has had few turnovers, they don't keep the ball in their hands very long. Their guards get rid of it fairly quickly.
Like that.
It's hard to get trapped when you get the ball's being moved.
McClellan off a screen. That's a big screen by Mills, believe me. Krebs always in control, feels the pressure. This is Cochran. This is good. Ben Cochran.
He did a nice job of getting his defender up in the air. He brought the ball up as if he's going to shoot. The North Lawndale player came up a little bit, and Cochran took it to the hole.
5 turnovers. Ooh, a nice jumper out front by the freshman, Jermaine Winfield. He's going to grow up to be quite the body underneath, too. It's 6'3", 213, only a freshman.
Yeah, and Jermaine can develop that outside game. He's going to be quite a player because he's a physical presence down low.
Back to 10, and it's going to be closer than that if Evans has his way, and he doesn't, but the tip is up and in by Cordero Smith.
Great job by Cordero following the play, too. North Lawndale doing a wonderful job on the offensive boards. Cordero Smith, another basket for him, his 4th of the ball game.
A little bit of a run. Chad Plover off the bench, instructing his offense, telling him what he wants. Does he want McClellan driving? Apparently he does.
We've talked about it many times, but the 3 or 4 guys in the perimeter are all slashers. You're going to see McClellan, who's a right-handed player, or left-handed player, taking it to his right, takes it right into the basket. You got 4 players that can take the ball to the basket with just about equal skill. Makes you hard to cover.
Great body control because he kept floating away from the defender who had his hand in his face, but could not stay with him. Free throw not there. So we're back to a 10-point Maroa-Forsyth lead. About to hit the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Evans with a pass across the way, gets it back somehow and puts it, no, not down, but he will go to the free throw line. Great hands. We've seen a lot of big men down here this weekend with great hands.
Watch his feet, too. He's able to get a big body into a small area. We've talked about that on 3 different occasions, that in the 3 different telecasts, that he has great hands, as you said, but also moves his feet very well.
Mr. Evans had 11 in the Super, 11 in the quarterfinal, 12 this afternoon. Of course, North Lawndale tested by Putnam County, put on a great last 4.5-minute burst to run away to a 57-41 lead and a final. And of course, then they held off Farmington today, 50-41. It's a tight game throughout, but too much Phoenix. Missed them both, and they got the putback.
Wow, what a big basket by DeAntoine Jackson. He's the one that carried him in the quarterfinals late in the game against Putnam County. Gets a perfect stick back there, and he's going to have a chance for the old traditional 3-point play.
And Jackson's been big in the second season down the stretch. 11 You get 8 from this guy, you get 12 from this guy. Jackson had 11 in the supers, 11 in the quarters. Can't make the free throw though. And the ball is loose and Krebs says, okay, let's see what we can do offensively. Cochran can't make that shot, can he? No, he can't. And rebounding it, I'll tell you what, Jermaine Winfield, he is not shy when it comes to battling the boards.
That was one of the first force shots that I've seen Maroa-Forsyth take. Not a good play by Cochran. He probably need to pull it back out. When Maroa-Forsyth takes the ball to the basket, Jim, they're very much under control in most cases.
Well, Jackson's got him to within 8, and of course, if you watch number 14, he'll go to the wing. Well, Cordero wants a 3. No. Almost a foul by Jermaine Winfield that time. Krebs spots a wide open. Cochran stops, gets a man up in the air, and then gets the rejection notice. And he's right back at it. That's short. Rebound again, bouncing into the favor of Maroa-Forsyth. Will they make them pay? They do with their third attempt.
3 for a quarter on that one. You get the ball back to All-Stater when he can get his feet set.
Krebs with the 3. Krebs with 13 in the first half. Isaiah Evans, too much iron. Rebounding and breaking out is Cochran, but it's too far in front of him. He almost makes a pretty dandy pass, but all for naught. I don't think if you're Chad Glover, you mind that too much. That's pretty aggressive.
No, it's just a little bit too far for him to handle, but the run out there would have been a nice basket from Maroa-Forsyth.
And of course, you see Lewis Thorpe pacing over there. Coming out is Atkins.
Lewis is looking for that combination now that can get this team back in the ballgame. He's playing several players in the first half.
Dante Dangerfield is the new man. There's a long jumper by Jackson. No, Moore clears. And let's see what happens here in the final 40 seconds of the first half. Maroa-Forsyth up by 11. Their biggest lead was 12. Krebs. Here's a foul out front. That's on Dante Dangerfield. Only a sophomore. Dante at 5'7", 150.
I watched Robert Krebs play on Friday, and he had, I'd say maybe about 70% mobility. I thought he had a pretty good step this afternoon. Right now he looks a little bit tired. He still does not have that explosive first step that gets him open on that crossover dribble.
McClellan, 76% on the year, but not there as Evans takes it away from everybody, including his own teammates.
That's his 5th board of the first half.
Here's Cordero. Oh, that is sweet. Cordero, a lot of guys can't make it that angle unless they hit glass, but Cordero Smith can. And it's a 9-point lead, and let's see if they get some momentum going into the locker room. There's a bad pass, but fortunately for Maroa-Forsyth, they can't control the turnover. So with 10 seconds remaining, let's see what the Trojans can do offensively. 32-1.
I think you want to look for Cochran or Krebs in this situation.
First of all, you got to get open. That's what kind of defense. Here's Moore. It's going to go with no time left. That's the way the first half comes to a close. And Coach Chad Kluver has to be feeling pretty good about that with an 11-point lead. But believe me, with North Lawndale, you got to play all 32 minutes because they will come at you. And speaking of Mr. Kluver, here is our Lee Hall.
All right, Jim, thanks a lot. Yeah, for the first 16 minutes, you couldn't have scripted it any better than that, could you?
No, we're really doing a good job on the boards, as we knew we had to. I think we've had some unforced errors at times to kind of give them breakout layups, but we're trying to turn into a half court as much as we can. We just got to take care of the ball.
I was going to say, you've taken pretty good care of the ball, too, for the most part.
Yes, and I think we can do more.
Well, and defensively, they're not shooting a good percentage, and it's hard to press and get that kind of pressure on you if you're playing that kind of defense and you're not taking the ball out of the basket.
Exactly. I mean, that's the main thing we got to have is we can get the rebounds and we can maybe go and get an easy one.
Good luck second half.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Thanks, Lee. And my apologies to Coach for calling him Clubber there for a couple of times. But it is Mr. Kluver, and he's got a clue as to how to beat North Lawndale. Can he keep it going? We're back after this on the IHSA Television Network.
At this time, please meet the Farmers of Farmington, who finished 2007 in 4th place with a record of 31-3. Meet the Superintendent of Farmington, Mark Doan. Principal, Scott Dearman. Athletic Director, Eric Matthews. Head coach, Tom Wiersba. Assistant coach, Chris Weaver. Assistant coach, Mike Renner. Assistant coach, Jeff Otto. Assistant coach, Tom Morse. Manager, Jeremy Laird. Jared Miller. Cody Wyant. Matt Swearingen. Raynor Borlett. Ben Vermillion. Brad Rogge. Israel Snider. Doug Richards. Seth Flynn. Josh Watznauer. Matt Godecki. And Ian Davis. At this time, please meet the Wooden Shoes of Teutopolis, who finished 2007 in third place, a record of 32-3. Meet the principal of Teutopolis, Dan Niemerg. Superintendent Dan Niemerg. Principal, Greg Beck. Athletic Director, Angie Sheehan. Head coach, Ken Crawford. Assistant coach, Andy Fehrenbaker. Assistant coach, Rich Krupsk. Assistant coach, Justin Fleener. Rich Voorhees. Wade Custer. Jason Rundy. Andy Tipton. Craig Westendorf. Jacob Daters. Mitch Bothwell. Jeremy Schumacher. John Rundy. Tony Zarusin. Brian Huskenherm. Chad Jansen. Tyler Blumick. Presenting the fourth place trophy will be Greg Bradley. Will the Coach Wiersbe and Farmington Farmers step forward and receive their fourth place trophy? Congratulations to the Farmers, fourth place, 2007 Class A. Presenting the trophy for third place will be Ron Connor. Will the Coach Crawford, the captain of Teutopolis, step forward and receive the third place trophy? Congratulations to the Wooden Shoes, third place, Class A, 2007. How about a hand for both teams? Great seasons, great effort, great tournament, great players, and great fans.
We're heading home. That's what it's all about at State. We're back to Peoria. It's 35-24, Maroa-Forsyth over at North Lawndale after these local messages.
Halftime here in Peoria of the championship game. Maroa-Forsyth leads North Lawndale 35-24. And I am Sarah Cusack here at the Chevrolet Performance Studio alongside Cliff Cameron. Now, Cliff, what a first half we've had so far. 11-point lead here.
Oh yeah, it's a very exciting championship game. We got two very good teams that push the ball up and down the floor. Both teams are able to create and score on transition. I keep on being impressed with the guards of Maroa-Forsyth, and especially Robert Krebs, who's able to come back after 6 days after having his appendix removed and being able to perform like he has. I was talking to one of the cheerleaders beforehand. It was a Christina, Maroa-Forsyth cheerleader, who says she knows him quite well, and he says he's sore, but after the game starts, the adrenaline starts flowing, and he's fine.
That's a gamer for you. Now let's take a look at these halftime stats brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. We see this 11-point lead, rebounds dead even, and right here assists 7-4. Great ball movement by this Maroa-Forsyth team.
Yeah, they do have very good ball movement. They move the ball very well. They find the open guy, and they're able to create and penetrate and score. So they do a very good job.
And Maroa-Forsyth able to handle this North Lawndale pressure. We got 7 turnovers and 6 for North Lawndale. Points in the paint, they're getting it done. 16 for the North Lawndale team, 20 for Maroa-Forsyth.
Right, and that's kind of reverse of what I thought. I would think that North Lawndale would be the team that would be able to score more in the paint instead of Maroa-Forsyth.
North Lawndale's led by Smith with 8 points. Maroa-Forsyth, as we talked about the guard play, Krebs with 13, Cochran 9, and Moore with 6. We're going to be back with some more second half action after we hear a message from our local sponsors.
Mills is going to Princeton.
Back at Carver Arena with North Lawndale coach Lewis Thorpe. Coach, the way you guys play, 11 points isn't a very big deficit. What did you tell them at halftime?
Well, first of all, we had to run back to the hotel and get our team. First half didn't look like us at all. So we're going to come out the second half and play Phoenix basketball. We just told them calmly, guys, we got to get back to our style, scrapping. They're out scrapping us. So second half, we're going to have to do what we do best. Run, trap, play defense. It's the only thing going to get us back in this game.
Good luck to you, Coach. All right, thanks. All right, Jim, back to you.
Thanks, Lee. I love that line. First of all, we had to run back to the hotel and get our real team. Didn't look like us in the first half. What is Maroa-Forsyth doing so well right now, Roger?
Well, they're taking care of the basketball, Jim. They've only had 7 turnovers. I know Coach Cleaver said that was too many, but the guards only have 1 of those 7, so they're taking care of it, getting shots at the basket. If I'm Coach Thorpe, what I'm telling our kids to do is extend that pressure a little bit more, try to create offense by our defense. They're getting pretty good shots at the basket. They're only 12 for 34, however, so they're getting the ball in right spots. They're just hoping they're going to drop here for them in the second half.
Let's check out the starting 5. First of all, for the leading Trojans, it is All-Stater Robert Krebs, Ben Cochran, Matt Guyman, Dustin Moore, who has 6 points, and that's helping the cause, and C.J. McClellan. There's the starting 5, and let's see who Coach Thorpe wants to send out. Looks like the same young men. Inbounding will be Wilson. Then Glenn Wallace will kick it in. Cordero Smith, and then the big men, Burton and Isaiah Evans.
The first 3 or 4 minutes, Jim, of this quarter is going to be very important to North Lawndale. They got to start chipping in this lead right away.
Wallace looking in. That's who he's looking for. Evans with the kick out. Wallace with the 3. That's a way to start the second half of a state championship game when you're trailing.
That's a senior in a sophomore's body right there. Wallace is a tremendous player. He's going to continue to get better. A big basket to start out the quarter for North Lawndale.
And usually the Phoenix, when they get a bucket like that, they add a turnover at the other end. They get the juices flowing. Evans all the way up top on the defense. Now they get it down low. McClellan will kick it to a wide open Krebs. Not there. Rebound comes down to Wilson.
One other thing North Lawndale can do is try to get them to have one and done, just like they did there.
Here come the Phoenix, rolling it in, but coming out of there, somehow Cordero Smith couldn't get that to fall. Everything but the 2. Krebs looking for Cochran. They're just swinging around, and this is Guyman inside, has it rejected. Burton said, not on my watch. Here comes Wallace. He's not going to slow down. What a shot by the sophomore, Glenn Wallace, and suddenly it's a 6-point ball game.
He's put him on his back right now, getting 5 coming out of the timeout. Maroa-Forsyth, a very unselfish team, though, and that makes them hard to cover.
Moore loose, couldn't get the handle on it. Fortunately, they got an offensive rebound, but the result will still be empty as the Trojans come away, and the momentum now swinging to Cordero Smith, who makes a nice pass inside to Evans, and boy, the roll is on.
We're getting close to timeout for Maroa-Forsyth, and Coach Cleaver did call it. Big momentum swing, 7 points out of the halftime for North Lawndale.
7 quick ones. We said that when you're talking about North Lawndale, you gotta always avoid the spurt. They are so quick. Most Class A state championships, well, of course, Ron Felling knows a lot about that with Lawrenceville, and first Class A state champion was, in fact, Lawrenceville.
You know, that was the game Mike Lockhart had such a great game, scored over 30 points in that first game in 1972.
And you talk about those Chicago teams there, Luther South, also Providence St. Mel won one in 1985, and then Hales Franciscan in 2003, Chicago Leo in 2004, and of course, Seneca last year kind of breaking that run by the Chicago schools.
Luther South had Pierre Cooper and Michael Conley, whose son now plays for Ohio State.
Oh, the memories of Class A in its 36th year. Look at all those regional titles by Pinckneyville. And of course, sectionals seem to be the norm for Pittsfield.
Well, Pinckneyville with Dick Horn and Duster Thomas, those are two legendary names down there, that's for sure. Now, again, North Lawndale's gotten back in the ball game by just getting the ball moving a little bit more and putting a little bit more pressure on Maroa-Forsyth. Maroa's just got to take care of business right now and do what they did to get the lead at the first half.
It looked like Lewis Thorpe said at halftime, guys, third gear's not going to cut it. I need you to crank it up to fourth and fifth gear defensively, and that's what they've done.
Momentum has switched back to North Lawndale, there's no question about it. And you can see it in the defensive pressure that the Phoenix are putting on. This is man-to-man. First time they've gone man here.
Look at Evans all the way out front, almost picking the pocket of Matt Guyman.
Man-to-man, you know, everyone's pretty much responsible. In the zone, somebody can sleep, and you still can't get hurt. But in man-to-man, you all got to play 5 as 1, and North Lawndale coming out with full court pressure on them.
Again, Cordero Smith trying to come away with it. They do get the turnover. Will it be 9 in a row? Cordero Smith says no, but tip won't go, and it's going out of bounds, and it belongs to Maroa-Forsyth. Very fortunate for the Trojans because they were on the run again. And Lewis can't believe that didn't drop. Cordero missed the initial attack, but it looked like the tip might fall, but not to be. So 4-point lead for the Trojans, and they have not scored yet in the third quarter.
Krebs and Cochran, though, taking good care of the ball. Only 1 turnover between the two of them in this ball game.
McClellan finds Krebs, makes a move, surrounded by 3 people, and almost throws it away as Glenn Wallace got a hand on it, knocked it out of bounds.
You got to watch those long passes against North Lawndale. They're so active, so well coached defensively.
Chad Kluver looking on. He needs a bucket right now to stop this string. Dangerous pass. Krebs gathers. Krebs fakes, goes in, makes a pass to Moore, and he gets away. Here comes Cordero Smith. It doesn't matter what the numbers are, but Cordero bounced it off of somebody's foot, and they don't get the call. It's going to come the other way. I didn't see whose foot it bounced off of.
The only one that matters is the guy in the stripes. They've done a tremendous job calling this game. He had a good angle on it. Maroa-Forsyth now has a chance to get the first points of the quarter.
Cordero, who averages 17 a game, has 8 so far. Krebs kicking it out. And of course, this is a good 3-point shooting team in Maroa-Forsyth. 40% on the year. They nailed 145 coming into this tournament.
As we said earlier, they spread the ball so evenly, and they're so hard to cover then. When you got 5 guys that touch the ball in just about every possession, they're very difficult to cover.
They call themselves the Band of Brothers. Here is Cochran hanging and ending the run.
We talk about spacing in the coaching profession. All of Maroa-Forsyth passes about 15 to 18 feet. Hard to get traps on that.
It was Cochran who came up with the phrase, the Band of Brothers. Of course, a great HBO special on World War II. Long jumper by Wallace. He's got 3, and Glenn Wallace has cut it to 3.
He's put him on his back right now. For Glenn Wallace, a tremendous start of the third quarter.
Here's Guyman thinking better of it. Look at Evans pressing. There's another turnover. Wallace saves it, gets it ahead to Cordero, and it is going to be put down by Evans.
But the play was made by Wallace. He's the one that tapped it loose, got it up the floor for the dunk. 8 points by Wallace and assist there.
That is just a swarm, folks. And we've got a blocking foul, and Cordero Smith hurt his hand coming down after the missed drive. And I've seen Evans so many times cover the length of the floor for the putback, and he's done it again. And it's a 1-point ball game. Don't go away. We're back after these local messages. It's March Madness. "100 years of tourney basketball in Illinois, and it's about to change its format. Next year, of course, will be a new 4-class system, and you can find opponents and proponents, but whatever, it's happening. That's how it'll run down, Roger.
It's still Illinois high school basketball, any way you slice it.
Now, it seems to me that North Lawndale just came out here in the third quarter and had a mano-mano attitude defensively.
Well,
we're up on you.
They had a good talking to by Coach Thorpe in the halftime, and it's the man-to-man pressure that's created the difference right now. A lot more energy on the defensive end, which translated then to the offensive end.
Patrick Atkins is in defensively for the Phoenix. Guyman, baseline jumper. That is a tough angle, and he gets it to drop.
He's got nice elevation on his jump shot, though, and good play by Maroa-Forsyth.
Guyman with 5 on the night now.
Maroa staying in that zone. They haven't varied from it yet, and once again, there's your 3-point specialist, DeAntoine.
DeAntoine Jackson kisses the net, and it's back to a 1-point Maroa-Forsyth lead. Wells, or I should say Mills, excuse me. He's headed to the Ivy League next year to play football for Princeton.
Look at the spacing again that Maroa-Forsyth has against his man-to-man, and this makes it almost impossible for North Lawndale to trap him.
Well, they're clearing out for Krebs right now. Krebs running the show up front.
You better be careful about a 5-second call here, though.
Robo can shake a lot of people, but can he shake Atkins?
So well spaced, 15, 18 feet.
McClellan hanging and hitting.
They're all slashers, all of them. All 4 of the perimeter players can take the ball to the basket.
You made a great point there as far as the spacing. That's how you avoid those double and triple teams if possible.
You stay away from screening on the ball. That's an automatic trap, and they're keeping Phoenix at bay.
Woolfolk in the game wearing number 10. He'll fire from 3 if possible. Oh, a tough angle that time, and Atkins gets it to go down. Man, Patrick Atkins floating from right to left brings his team back to within 1. Let's go check on injuries with Lee Hall. Lee, what's up?
Hey, Jimmy, Cordero Smith was just taken back to the trainer's room back here. He hurt his wrist, apparently, when he fell into the cheerleaders a couple of plays ago. Greg gave one of the trainers here from Peoria is back there in the trainer's room with him. They've taken some ice, and he apparently hurt his wrist. So we'll keep an eye on that and let you know how he's doing.
Thanks, Lee. And I know, Roger, that they've got a lot of depth, but you don't want to lose Cordero Smith. Krebs, that looked like a foul as he tried to get his own missed shot, and that is a foul on number 3 for Maroa-Forsyth. And we'll just have to see if Cordero makes it back out here.
Yeah, I would think you would if there's any way possible. You lose the heart of your team and you lose Cordero Smith. The Phoenix 7 for 11 in this quarter. I attribute that to the defensive pressure because they've picked up a step on the offensive end because of what they're doing defensively.
Evans calling for the ball. He wants to give his team the lead. He's triple teamed. He steps in, and we've got travel and go. Well, you could tell he just wanted the basketball. He got what he wanted, but the end result was a turnover.
I think what Maroa-Forsyth will be happy to do is get the ball into number 3, Robert Krebs, and clear everybody out. But now Isaiah Evans is sneaking up behind, maybe trying to get a little trap action going here.
Seneca won it all last year with an undefeated record. Nashville was trying to duplicate that, but was knocked off by T-Town on quarterfinal Friday. McClellan to Krebs, 3 on the way.
When he's got time to set and shoot, he is an outstanding shooter. Not a great jump shooter off the dribble, but a nice shooter when he gets some time to set his feet.
Here's their 3-point ace, right back at you.
Boy, he's been as advertised all tournament. DeAntoine Jackson, tremendous shot.
He came in with 43 on the year, and here's a bad pass, and Krebs cannot save it. McClellan got a hand in his face and couldn't find his teammate. So again, for the second time, and only the second time tonight, North Lawndale has a chance to take their first lead.
Fourth turnover by Maroa-Forsyth, and as you said, a big possession for North Lawndale offensively, which makes it even bigger possession for Maroa-Forsyth defensively.
Brad Birton been a little silent. He's on the low post now. Here's a long jumper. That's off the iron. Not there this time for Jackson. And the save with a whistle and a foul could go against Evans. Let's see.
That can't feel good. I don't care. Robert Krebs falling on his stomach area, and you know he's been on the floor an awful lot in these last 3 ball games, but he's always risen to the occasion. If they get the ball to Robert Krebs, this pressure is not going to be too much for Maroa. He's a good ball handler. He's smart, makes good passes.
And of course, Roger alluding to the fact that he is only 6 days out from an emergency appendectomy. That's number 3 with the basketball. Headed to play basketball for Jimmy Collins, an old friend of yours. Krebs in the corner, wants to get out of there. See how McClellan backs his way out of trouble? Dangerous pass. Cochran dishes it over. Mills can't do anything with it. Will Krebs hit again? That's why he is the All-Stater, unanimously. Jackson, oh, he lost the handle on the way up. Here comes Maroa-Forsyth, and that's the way the third quarter comes to an end. Jackson trying to close it to within 2, but it's Maroa-Forsyth after a strong third quarter from North Lawndale, leading it by 4. We're back with the final quarter after these local messages. North Lawndale got to within 1, but then Krebs said, nope, we're going to spread it out a little bit. And he did with 2 threes. Krebs can really put up numbers, folks. In a span of 4 games, he scored 40, 39, and 37 and 37. He's the real deal. Let's check the turnovers, Roger, because against North Lawndale, it's always about keeping that number low.
Well, interesting statistic to me in that third quarter, Maroa-Forsyth shot 50% and lost most of the lead. Lawndale cut back within 1 point. Maroa had the 11-point lead at the end of the quarter, but even shooting 50%, North Lawndale came back because they converted on the turnovers.
North Lawndale outscored the Trojans 19-12.
Well, rebounding is going to be a huge key for North Lawndale now. They've got to try to get more than 1 shot down there at the basket. They're capable of doing it. These guys can really go hard to the glass. They're very well coached by Lewis Thorpe. This is something they're going to have to do to get back in this game.
We have a little bit of debate here in terms of a substitution.
Well, it's a possession question right now. That's what the problem is. The board has possession of Maroa-Forsyth, and North Lawndale thinks it's their ball, so we're going to find out.
Well, let's see where it stays. They were talking about substitutions too.
Yep, that's what it was.
So the arrow stays to Maroa-Forsyth.
Now you got a sophomore guarding the All-Stater, even though the sophomore plays like a senior.
McClellan shut down, makes a tough pass. Guyman had it knocked away, and it's loose on the floor, and I think we're going to get a foul on Guyman, who was trying to get that thing back. Good hustle by North Lawndale.
Now, Andrew Mills really doesn't want the ball down there. They want to get him down there for offensive boards to play good defense. They want to keep the ball in the 4 outside guys' hands, and right now Moore's going to be coming in for Mills. Moore's a little bit more of an offensive threat. Both players play well defensively, but as I said, number 50 in there, Dustin Moore, might give you a little bit more offense. He did in the first half.
Burton checks out for Coach Thorpe as Wilson is back into the game. There's number 10, Wolfhook, driving too much, just a little too much.
No, great shot. I mean, you can't ask for a better shot than that.
7:25 remaining in regulation. One of these schools will win their first ever state championship. And of course, it'll be an historical footnote because it's the last Class A state championship. Krebs on its way. This one's going to be off the iron, headed out of bounds, and coming the way of North Lawndale.
Well, right now, Rashad Wilson has drawn the assignment of covering Robert Krebs.
Let's take a look at these stats. Brought to you by Menard. Save big money at Menard.
Well, North Lawndale's got back in the ball game, gotten the shooting percentage up, as you can see there, 20 for 47.
Evans begging for the ball. Marshall fires. It's going to hit the top of the bank board and come down. Hit the shot clock, actually, or I should say the game clock. No shot clock, of course, in high school basketball. You think that'll ever change? Think they'll ever put a shot clock in high school basketball?
Yeah, you never know. Changes, you know, the only thing's constant, so things are always going to change, but I don't think that's anything in the near future.
Of course, they debated the three-pointer for a while, too, and now it's a big part.
Wallace is back on Krebs.
Cochran, they misfire on their second trip down. Clearing it out is Evans. Once he gets it, no one gets to grab it away. Woolfolk, who missed on his last trip down, got the shot he wanted. Here's Jackson, and it's a one-point game. I'm telling you, DeAntoine Jackson doesn't take long to load up, does he?
No, and a nice high arch, which gives it a good chance to go in the basket.
Krebs in trouble a little bit, but somehow finds his way out of it, and now Woolfolk will lay a hand on it. That'll be team foul number 5 on the Phoenix. Only 2 so far on Maroa-Forsyth. And now we're getting to that time, Roger, where it's all crucial.
And Maroa's a good free throw shooting team. So right now that's 5 fouls for North Lawndale. They're a 72% free throw shooting team for the year. You put Maroa at the free throw line, chances are you're going to get burned.
And it's also interesting to check the gas tank right now because this Maroa-Forsyth team went 2 overtimes against T-Town today, a game that saw 10 lead changes, 5 ties. Guyman, a little too much iron. Here comes North Lawndale with a chance again to take the lead. Marshall, Jackson, inside, and it's not there by Wilson, but the tip is up and not there again. Back up goes Mr. Wilson, and Wilson will be at the free throw line.
We talked about one of the keys at the start of the game was seconds, please, and this is one of the things that I think North Lawndale has done in superior fashion today is bang those offensive boards and try to get second and third shots.
Boy, Wilson was very active that time as Birton gets set to check back in. There you see the 235-pound senior. Is it tied? Not yet.
He was the MVP for the Phoenix as a freshman and a sophomore on their lower levels. Didn't play last year, so getting his just desserts right now, playing the state championship game.
That one's off the iron. Krebs gets the tip after McClellan got a hand on it. Here comes the D. Dante Dangerfield working on Krebs. Jackson jumps out. Every trip precious now.
You got to feel comfortable right now if you're a Maroa fan with the ball in Robert Krebs' hand, though.
One team will have a heartwarming finish, the other a heartbreaking one. That's the way it goes. That's why we play them. 5:29 remaining here in regulation. Krebs is open. It looks good.
His fifth 3-point basket, 22 for the game.
Marshall in a hurry. You want to see pressure, wait until we get to the final 2 minutes. If the Phoenix are trailing, wide open, Dangerfield, no, Krebs. Nobody on the Phoenix is shy about taking a shot. Wide open is Guyman. He gets it blocked by Birton, who got the big right hand up there, but then threw it away.
Now, Maroa's at 46 shots. I said they had to get 50 to have a chance to win, and if they have 50 shots, that means they have very few turnovers, and right now, only 12, which is by far the lowest down here in Peoria against a North Lawndale opponent.
Maroa-Forsyth has had their lead cut to 1 on 3 separate occasions, but has responded, and usually it's Krebs doing the honors from 3. Cochran finds himself alone for a second. Now he's in trouble, but he spots Moore, or thought he did, but tipped away inside by Wilson. Here comes the sophomore, and we'll have a trip to the free throw line for Glenn Wallace.
Yeah, Cochran got himself in there too deep again. Coach Cleaver's going to have a little chat with him.
Let's see what happened here.
Here's the breakout again. Nice taking the ball to the basket by Glenn Wallace. He's going to the line for 2. Cochran, I think, right now is trying to do just a little bit too much. Just try to stay within the flow of the offense, and I think things will work out for him.
Oh, that is quite a shot there. He killed it on the back iron and got the spin. So now the 65% free throw shooter on the year, and the man they call the tempo master.
You know,
sets it up.
I'm so impressed with him. I've said that many times. Transferred from Westchester St. Joseph, but a tremendous point guard. You're going to hear a lot of him in the next 2 seasons.
The Trojans with the basketball and a 3-point lead. And speaking of threes, that's the man right there, number 3. Too much, or will it go? No, it won't. Tipping it underneath is Jackson, and he controls. Jackson to Birton. Up they come in a hurry. Wallace contested. Oh, there's his shot. Yeah!
My goodness. Answer. The answer is made by DeAntoine Jackson.
Jackson is the answer. Krebs tries to find a counter punch, but it's not there. And again, we have got a tie game after the 3 by Jackson, all dead even at 50s, under 4 minutes to play, just as a championship game should be.
We're going to get a TV timeout at the next basket. Both teams look like they need it, Jim. They both look like gas. They both played very emotional semifinal games today.
North Lawndale trailed in the quarterfinals and came back. Wallace doesn't get the shot to fall. He's back underneath, and he'll go to the free throw line. Well, he's not the tallest of the Timbers, but he is the most aggressive on that one.
We're going to take a good look at this replay. Penetration in the lane by North Lawndale. Again, hitting the offensive boards. Coach Thorpe has to be thrilled with the way his team has gone to the offensive glass today.
And you got to give Brad Birton credit. He kept that thing alive inside.
Well, this is the best that I've seen him do on the offensive glass in the 3 games we've seen him.
Still tied at 50s. Cordero Smith is back in the game, favoring that right hand a little bit.
This ball goes in the basket. Both teams are going to get a much-deserved break here. Timeout's not a factor. North Lawndale has their full complement of 3. Maroa with 2.
The Phoenix lead for the first time tonight, 51-50. We've got a timeout, and we've got some excitement coming your way after these local messages. And of course, part of the experience in Peoria is the experience. Here's some wheelchair basketball going on in that expansive experience where you can do just about everything. And you talk about gamers. There's some right there, Roger.
No question. It's competition no matter what level you're playing at and what skill level. So wonderful part of the March Madness experience.
The Phoenix have come out in the second half with renewed vigor. They trailed by 11 at the break, but they have outscored Maroa-Forsyth 27-15, and now it's the Trojans trying to take the lead back after the free throw gave the Phoenix the lead. It's Cochran, yes!
On a nice assist pass from Robert Krebs. He set him up with that. Cochran had his feet set, but Krebs is the one that caused that play to be a success.
Quickly, Lee Hall with the injury update. Lee?
Guys, Cordero Smith's back out there. The coaching staff wanted him to grab a basketball during the timeout and test his wrist. He refused to do that. They wanted him to come out of the game and test his wrist. He said no, he's staying in there. He's favoring it. You can notice that he's favoring it a little bit, but he was determined to go out there and be with his team for the final 3+ minutes here, guys.
You saw the power move by that man, Isaiah Evans. He wasn't going to be stopped, and his attempt here at the conventional 3 could give the Phoenix the lead right back. No, we are tied as McClellan clears the rebound. What a game, Roger. What a game. 3 minutes, and nobody has an advantage.
Well, it's not going to be out of this guy's hand very often. I'm going to tell you what. Things happen good for Maroa-Forsyth when Robert Krebs has it.
Ooh, a dangerous pass. McClellan goes up high to get it. Guyman thinks better of it. He had an opportunity there from 15.
Now, Cochran's the guy that carried him in the sectional final. He carried him in the super sectional, but you got to go to your bread and butter, man. That's the guy right there.
They're weaving a little bit outside, taking some time off the clock.
I don't think that North Lawndale's going to want to cover Mills. They can double team Krebs, which is what they did there.
There's trouble out front. He needs help, and he's going to get a timeout.
Well, that's close. Close to a walk.
We've got a timeout on the floor. All tied at 53s. Back after these network messages on the IHSA television network. It's time for the drive of the game, brought to you by your Chevy dealers, and there's McClellan doing the honors. Your Chevy dealers, proud to support high school athletes and their families. Best of luck in the tournament from your winning Chevy team. What do you do defensively here if you're North Lawndale?
Well, I'm going to try to get the ball out of Krebs' hand. Even if I have to double team and leave someone else open, I'm going to try to get it out of his hands.
He's open, it's in his hands, and it's down the drain.
He's just too good right now to go one-on-one. You got to try to put 2 guys on him. You got to try to get 2 guys on him to make him give the ball up.
6 threes on the night, 25 total points. Smith, so quick. And now the onus is on the Phoenix. The shot will not fall. And it's on the floor. Well, Glenn Wallace had a look, but fortunately for the Phoenix, they get it right back. Smith, no, too hard. Krebs has the rebound. Ooh, there's an almost steal. There's numbers. Guyman almost walked and gets it blocked by Burton. And here come the Phoenix in a hurry. Speaking of numbers, Smith's got him. And he won't get the ball to fall, though.
And Maroa-Forsyth's going to go to the line the next time they get fouled. One a bonus, and right now you got Cochran. Cochran going to the free throw line, a 75.4 free throw shooter for the biggest one and bonus of his career.
Let's recap. Guyman got loose on the offensive end and then couldn't control, hesitated for a moment, and Brad Birton took advantage of that hesitation. The rejection the other way, 2-on-1. Smith went up, and again, he's playing with a bad wrist. Free throw is good. It's a 4-point lead with 1:34 remaining.
Now the second one will be easier. First one hit the front of the rim. He knows now what he has to do, and he looked right there. He made a simulated shot.
Cochran 75% on the year. This one's far from over.
North Lawndale still with all 3 timeouts left too, Jim.
Uh-oh, that one's short. Lawndale, wow, walked with it. Patrick Atkins got caught up in traffic and couldn't get the ball down before his feet moved.
Now North Lawndale has got to try to keep the ball out of Robert Krebs' hands. It's imperative that he does not touch it here.
Atkins out.
Mills is not going to hurt you, so the man who's maybe covering Mills might be the one that's going to slough off and try to help.
Cordero Smith right back in. A huge inbounds pass. Out to Mr. Robo, the man who rarely turns it over. Ooh. Cordero Smith almost found the lane. Mills doesn't want to take the shot. We're closing in on a minute left. They're going to force him to foul, and they don't have to because that is a travel.
Well, I know Robert can't do it by himself, but he needs to come back and get that ball. McClellan turned it over, but you know, Robert's going to be the one that has to say, look, the ball has to be mine.
Kind of a must-have trip for the Phoenix. Glenn Wallace sets it up, drives the lane, hangs, gets it blocked by Mills, but we've got a foul.
Great drive by Glenn, too. Glenn has just done so much in this ball game. 14 points, got a couple assists. Tremendous move by Glenn Wallace.
Mills got him down low with that big body. Mills at 270.
Needs to make at least one of these two to keep him in a one-possession game.
We've seen North Lawndale make some crucial free throws in the quarters and the semis, and we'll see if they can make it a trifecta from 15 feet away tonight.
You're looking at All-Stater in a couple years, if not next year.
In and out, stays out. It's on the floor though, and the Phoenix have it. Evans up, and it won't go. We've got another whistle, another foul, and let's see. Evans will be camping at the free throw line where Wallace just warmed it up.
This is a situation where North Lawndale just wanted it a little bit more than Maroa. It looks like the ball was loose. Once again, a great job by Evans. They've had 9 second chance points in this game, Jim, and here's a chance to make 10 and 11.
And you saw Wallace after the missed free throw, not getting down on himself, diving in to keep that thing alive. Down to a 2-point margin.
Now the possession arrow is in North Lawndale's favor. That could be a factor.
Yeah,
3 timeouts left for North Lawndale. That could be a factor.
Both teams obviously in the bonus situation now. Evans trying to make it an even dozen on the night. He does, and it's a 1-point game as we play the final 60 seconds of regulation. This is the guy you got to watch. Krebs. Jackson's all over him. And if he pulls up for a jumper, Jackson's going to be flying at him.
There's your double team to get it out of his hands.
Cochran. He works against Wallace.
He's going to get a 5 count if he's not careful.
He's almost going to get it, but gets rid of it. I'm sure that Maroa-Forsyth would like to hang on, but it's going to be very difficult because you get pressured into turnovers like that one as Krebs, the All-Stater, couldn't keep the pivot foot down, and Coach Kluver has got to be a little concerned now because with 30 seconds remaining, it'll be Glenn Wallace and the Phoenix with a chance to take the lead and take home the championship.
This one you got to rely on your defense. You got to rely on your defense. It's what got you here.
It's loose on the floor. Maroa-Forsyth has it. No shot for the Phoenix and a foul.
Wow.
You want to get a shot. North Lawndale was not going to get there, and look at the hustle by Guyman.
All North Lawndale had to do was get their hands on the ball, and the ball would have been theirs because the possession there was in their favor.
And look who they fouled. The best free throw shooter on the team, Krebs. But remember, Krebs was at the line today in the semifinal against T-Town with 1 second left and a 1-on-1. and it went down and came out somehow, and they went into 2 overtimes and still managed to win.
All right, let's get into both huddles right now. As the coach from Maroa-Forsyth, Coach Kluver's got to be thinking making 2 shots. Then you got to come down, you got to tell you who you're going to have to stop. Well, obviously, DeAntoine Jackson. We're going to go into the huddles now. First of all, Coach Thorpe.
Say if we make both free throws, foul them before they get a shot off. They can't beat you with 2 free throws, and he also knows they're not a great free throw shooting team, but the key here will be the man at the free throw line, well, Robert Krebs.
If you do that, though, you run the risk of a tip-in rebound because they've done a great job there. I'm going to anticipate what's going to happen. Krebs makes both free throws. Maroa-Forsyth's going to come down and just play as good a man-to-man or zone defense as they can. And then you got to look for Evans, you got to look for Wallace, you got to look for DeAntoine Jackson.
Lee Hall, what you got?
In the huddle for North Lawndale with Lewis Thorpe, he said if he makes them both, don't panic. We need a 3, but we've got 2 timeouts left. If we don't get something we like, we can call timeout, but don't panic. And he's got him set up for this. So
the flick of the wrist. Thank you, Lee. It's a 3-point lead with 16 seconds left.
They don't need a 3. They need 2 points because they can stop the clock.
Woolfolk in the game with the basketball, number 10. And now we've got a whistle and a timeout as Lewis Thorpe wants to talk it over in the final 9.4 seconds. Lee Hall will listen in. Oh, what a game. Neither team has ever won a state championship. And again, any kind of bucket here.
Well, honestly, it's got to be Glenn Wallace or DeAntoine Jackson. They're the ones who are 5 for 11 from 3-point range. But again, I'm not sure that they need a 3. They can get a quick 2, stop the clock, and try to take the ball away from Rowe on the inbounds play.
And again, if you go inside to Isaiah Evans, if you are Maroa-Forsyth, you almost kind of want to lay off, but you can't let him get it too quickly. If you still have 6 or 7 seconds left, they're going to follow you very quickly. There's the rallying cry by Coach Kluver for the Band of Brothers. That's what they call themselves, and it's down to 9.4 ticks. The Trojan fans are all on their feet, jumping up and down. The place is packed.
You got to keep your eye on DeAntoine Jackson, number 14, and Glenn Wallace, 15. Those are the 3-point threats for North Lawndale.
Jackson's nailed 3 of 6 tonight, and now we'll have a fresh body in there. Jeffrey Brown is getting set to check in.
Yeah, he's going to have to sit there till they inbound it, though.
Wilson will do the honors. The Phoenix need to score. Otherwise, the door may close. Evans kicks it out. Woolfolk, they got to hurry. This is Woolfolk for the possible tie. No, he doesn't get it off. Maroa-Forsyth is the Class A state champion of 2007.
And it was their defense that won it at the end. The defense that's been a big part of this ball club. You talk about their offense, they're a tremendous defensive team, and that's what won the state championship for them in the last possession.
Could you have a better game? Both teams did what they came here to do. Both were very aggressive. Somebody's got to lose. That somebody happens to be a very dejected North Lawndale Phoenix team.
And what a class act there. Look at Coach Lewis Thorpe trying to pick up his team. He can't be dissatisfied with the effort they gave. Obviously, he wanted to come out with a gold trophy. Didn't happen.
Isaiah Evans hurting.
Yeah, this is the part of high school sports that, you know, you just fall in love with the emotion, the winners and the losers.
Isaiah Evans is too distraught. I think he's going to shed a few tears by himself in the tunnel.
Well, what a year for Maroa-Forsyth, as you stated earlier. State championship after the Friday after Thanksgiving, and then coming down here and taking the gold. What a conference they played in. You know, you had 3 teams in the Sweet 16, Central A&M, Monticello, and Maroa. So They had good competition all year in the conference, and it paid off at the end.
It was just a matter as the game progressed into the second half is, could you stop the talented Phoenix? Could you stop their aggressiveness? Could you hang on to the ball enough? And you look at the turnovers. We said, Roger, to ourselves during a timeout, if they can keep the turnovers to about 15, Maroa-Forsyth will have a chance. And how many did they have?
And I said they had to get 50 shots to win the game, and look what they had, 51. I thought 50 was a big number. Krebs with 27 points, a big number again, 8 for 19 from 3.
And they had 15 turnovers, and they created 13 turnovers as North Lawndale turned it over.
You know, if they turn it over 20 times, they only get 46 shots, and they don't win.
9.4 seconds were on the clock. Here's what happened.
They didn't have a good look at it. Maroa-Forsyth did a great job of defending it.
Guyman was flying at the shooter, and that was the defensive play in the final seconds. Let's go to Lee Hall. Lee?
All right, we're with Chad Kluber. Tell me about that last play and what you were trying to do defensively.
Well, defensively, we just told the kids it's been defensive rebounding for us all year. We were not going to give up the three. We just had to make sure and contain the dribble. Our kids, I mean, that's just, we put our hat on that, and that's what we finished with.
You knew these guys were going to make a run at you second half. Your guys withstood that.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. I think we came out, a little afraid to lose. We found ourselves in a pretty big situation, and we knew they were going to come at us, and I'm proud of our kids for reacting that way. We fought back.
Tell me about Krebs and the guts he showed you this week, literally.
I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, it goes, and the whole team. I mean, they go from not knowing if he's going to play to where here he is. They just reacted so well. And for Robo to finish his senior year like that, finish his high school career, he deserves every bit of it.
Congratulations, Coach. You
very much.
Way to
Thank
go.
you.
Robert Krebs, our country insurance player of the game. You got something you want to show him there? That's right, state champs, buddy. Congratulations. 27 points tonight. We've been talking about your guts all week. Tell me how you feel.
Oh, I felt great tonight. I was finally able to shoot the ball like I have been. My stomach muscles, they hurt out there, but I just kept fighting through the pain and feeding off the adrenaline.
Tell me how hard it was for you to sit out Monday in the Super, or Tuesday in the Super.
Toughest thing I've ever done, toughest game I've ever watched. To go and battle with my team the whole season and then have them laid on the line for me. It was tough to watch, but they did a great job.
You had a good lead there at halftime. You knew these guys were going to make a run at you, but yet you guys withstood that. Talk about coming down here second year in a row and coming home with the big trophy this year. You were third a year ago.
Yeah, last year we got third. It was very, very depressing for us. We thought we could have won it. This year we want to leave it all out there on the floor, and I thought we did that this last game.
Wide receiver, state champion in football, state champion in basketball. Way to go, buddy.
Thank you, just like Allen Iverson did it.
Atta baby. All right. Back to you, Jim.
Yes, indeed. And Robert Krebs finishes with a dream, a state championship. Let's go to the presentation of the first and second place trophies.
In attendance this evening, they are Jim Woodward, Anna Jonesboro, Division 7 Board President, Ron Connor, Clinton Division 5 Board Vice President, Mount Zion Treasurer, Greg Bradley. From Riverdale, Division 4, Jim Boyd. From Carbondale, at-large member, Vicki King. And from East Peoria, Division 6, Paul Whittington. Making the presentation of the second place medals will be Jim Woodward, assisted by Paul Whittington. The trophy presenter will be Vicki King. Medal presenter for the first place awards will be Ron Connor, assisted by Greg Bradley. The trophy presenter, Jim Boyd. At this time, please meet the Phoenix of Chicago North Lawndale, finishing second place, a record of 26-10. Meet the superintendent, John Horan. Principal, Robert Karpinski. Athletic director and head coach, Lewis Thorpe. Assistant coach, Reverend Howard Brown. Assistant coach, Randy Brown. Assistant coach, Harvey Jones. Assistant coach, Kelly Martin. Manager, Jeremy Winfield. Dante Dangerfield. Stephen Thorpe. Patrick Woolfolk. Jeffrey Brown. DeAntoine Jackson. Glenn Wallace. Cordero Smith. Isaiah Evans. Rashad Wilson. Patrick Atkins. Bryant Edwards. Bradley Burton. Jermaine Winfield. And Miles Mayfield. At this time, please meet the Trojans of Maroa-Forsyth, who finished in first place, a record of 33-1. Meet the superintendent of Forsyth, Mike Williams. Principal, Scott Adrian. Athletic Director, Dana Dale. Athletic Director, Eric Streeter. Head Coach, Chad Kluver. Assistant Coach, Rennie Kluver. Assistant Coach, Phil Appleby. Manager, Austin Cater. Manager, Joey Rotz. Robert Krebs. Matt Guyman. C.J. McClellan. Ben Cochran. Bo Sullivan. Wyatt Washburn. David Painter. Michael Scott. Darren Sill. Andrew Miles. Ben Kent. Jordan Zellhart. Chris Damon. Travis Tracer. And Dustin Moore. Now we'll Coach Thorpe and the captains of North Lawndale step forward and receive the second place trophy. Congratulations to the Phoenix, second place, 2007 Class A. Now will Coach Kluver and the captains of Forsyth step forward and receive the first place trophy. Congratulations, Class A state champs, 2007. One additional announcement. All the schools this weekend were judged by a board.
A night that will live in the hearts and minds of Maroa-Forsyth for the rest of their lives. They are the state champions. We're back to wrap it up after these network messages. Welcome back to Peoria. Let's break down some of the numbers that stand out to you, Roger Lowe, as to why Maroa-Forsyth was able to hold off.
Well, first of all, North Lawndale did a great job of staying in the game on their offensive boards. I got to give Coach Thorpe great credit for that. They had 15 offensive boards, but the biggest number is the three-point shooting, 8 for 19. Krebs 6 for 13 was obviously the catalyst there. 15 turnovers, you might say that's a lot, but against the pressure that North Lawndale puts on people, it really isn't. They got the 51 shots. They said they had to get 50. Had they taken 49, they may not have won the game.
And of course, free throws are always crucial, and we knew coming in that North Lawndale was not a great free throw shooting team, and that kind of came back to haunt them.
Yeah, 5 for 14 is a big stat there as well, but you know, neither team can hang their heads. Both teams played as hard as they possibly could, and you know, you may be seeing both these teams back here in the next year or two.
A lot of smiles out there for all those blue-clad folks, and of course, the Phoenix were gathered around their coach also near center court.
That pain's going to go away, Jim. You know, right now it hurts those kids really bad, but you know, they had a tremendous season, came all the way through the season, and just came up 3 points short.
Lee Hall, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jim. We're with Lewis Thorpe. Coach, I know it's tough to take for you and your players right now, and your players are awfully emotional, but the chance to be here on this floor and remember your last high school game of your career for some of these kids is something special and something someday they're going to treasure.
Yeah, you know, it's a good thing. A friend of mine told me a lot of people never make it down.
You bet.
We made it down, and we had a great time. It was a fun ride. Fun ride. Can't ask for more than that. We lost today against a dynamite team.
Tell me about, I mean, your school's only 4 or 5 years old, just the ability, I mean, when you think of that alone, and you've been down here 2 times in a row, that says a lot for your program, a lot about your kids.
Absolutely. The school is 9 years old.
9 years old.
Program is 7. And, you know, we've been working hard throughout the years and certainly this year. So, you know, we're just proud to be able to play and have a successful season and stop up, and hopefully we can be back here next year.
The great thing I love about IHSA athletics, after the game, you guys, both of your teams played your hearts out. You went up to Coach Kluver, gave him a big hug and congratulated him. That's a lot of class.
It's a great game. He's a great coach. And we talked before the game, and the first thing we said was, let's have some fun.
It's a pleasure, sir. Congratulations. All right, Lewis Thorpe, class gentleman, guys, back to you.
Thank you, Lee Hall. It's said and done. It's in the record books. 100 years of tourney action in Illinois, and Maroa-Forsyth is part of the history. And of course, Robert Krebs, you're going to hear a lot about that kid when he heads to Chicago to play.
There's the mayor right there. I mean, if the guy ran for mayor right now, he'd win in Maroa-Forsyth area. And there's his proud dad to his right. So Dave's been there for a long time with him.
That's it from Peoria.